This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano.
It's the only NBA arena that hosts the two teams, the Lakers and the Clippers. And the Clippers have had success in recent times. The Kings, the Los Angeles Kings, two-time Stanley Cup champions. You know, that arena is always going to be the Staples Center to me.
Nick Morgeson.
We're talking about China. We're talking about a communist country that puts a lot of rules, not going against government officials, whether they're former or current. And you can't say anything about anybody in political spectrum or you're going to get crucified.
And Nick Federa.
Something that is intrinsically nothing is also nothing. It's like nothing plus nothing equals nothing.
Empty the Bench starts now.
Don't be a dick, vote for Nick.
Nothing plus nothing equals nothing. But what is nothing divided by nothing equal?
I don't know. I guess nothing.
I don't know. You know what happens when you divide by zero on the internet.
Well, zero, I guess.
The world then collapses upon itself. Welcome everybody to episode 113 of Empty the Bench. Tom Albano here, along with Nick Morgeson. Nick Federa is not here with us this week. I don't know if you heard at the end, don't be a dick, vote for Nick. I mean, that is his campaign, so we can only assume right now he is out campaigning to be the next president of the United States in 2020. Yeah, it would be the 2024 election. He's running for 2024.
I mean, well, or he could be yelling at horses, one of the two.
Hey, that's my gimmick.
Well,
all right.
Speaking of yelling at horses, I think we're going to be doing a lot of that this episode.
Well, we do have a lot we got to get into. I know there's one person in particular you're fired up about that we're going to start off with, but we actually have to start off with some breaking news here into the Empty the Bench studios. Breaking news, actually kind of local news here in New York. The New York Islanders, their games are postponed through Tuesday at the very least as a result of COVID-19 protocols. They already were dealing with a couple of cases, confirmed positive cases already. Now more close contacts, more contact tracing is going to leave at least 8 players unavailable. So therefore, they will not be able to take the ice Sunday against the Rangers and Tuesday, and potentially even more games depending on if these cases don't slow down or whatnot.
Now, I know more from the NBA perspective how the COVID protocol works, where usually when you're either a close contact, it's usually 5 days, and if you test positive, I think it's usually 7 to 10 days if you're actually out. Now, I wouldn't be surprised. Right now, we're only hearing of 8 cases. Now, are these all confirmed positive cases? Are they close contact?
Some close contact.
Now, my guess is usually when it rains, it pours. So if there's 8 either positive or close contact cases, there's going to be more. There's going to be a lot more coming.
Well, we're just coming off a time in which, this is not the first team to have a breakout as of late. We're just coming off a time where the Ottawa Senators had multiple games postponed as a result of COVID-19 protocols because of positive tests and close contacts and what have you.
We just came off a holiday. And by the way, hopefully everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully you got to spend it with family as long as you were vaccinated. Now, that was the point I was going to bring up, that Fauci and the CDC came out and said that you need to be vaccinated if you want to be around people and we want to get back to seeing people again. Now, there are still hundreds of millions of people that are still not vaccinated. So we're in a situation where if people are not vaccinated, we're still spreading a virus. And now, Tom and I were talking beforehand, there's a new variant that's coming out of Africa. And we've already closed the traveling road to Africa, and a bunch of other countries have. So we're in a situation where we're still dealing with the COVID pandemic.
I'd say the only fortunate thing is the vaccine is readily available here. Now, we don't know how effective this vaccine is going to be against this new variant. We don't know much about this new variant. We know it comes from South Africa, and reportedly not a lot. The vaccine is not readily available in South Africa as it is compared to other countries. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on over here with the new variant when it inevitably makes its way over here. I've said multiple times that we're probably just going to have to live the rest of our lives dealing with COVID, unfortunately.
It's like the flu. What's probably going to happen is you're going to have to get a vaccine like you do for the flu if you're able to get it. But at the same time, how is these close contact? How is COVID getting in? If all these leagues are supposed to be following COVID protocol, how is it getting in? Are people breaking the rules? Are people not doing the right thing? Someone's got to be doing something that's causing the cases.
Well, remember, they're not going to force, as much as some leagues like the NFL want to force players to get vaccinated, they can't. Well, they say they can't.
That is the dumbest bullshit I've ever heard in my life. What do you mean you can't force your players to get vaccinated? It's a private entity. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and then you got loudmouths like Cole Beasley and company.
Cole Beasley is one of those guys who's, I'm sure he's probably a Trump supporter, probably, that basically said, I'm going to do what I want.
Oh, actually, I don't even know if Cole Beasley's leading the charge on that. I think he's been replaced as of late by Karen Rodgers.
Ugh. I mean, Aaron Rodgers went on his press conference the other day. This drove me crazy. The LeBron thing drove me crazy, but this drove me crazy too. Aaron Rodgers taking his sock and his shoe off, and on Twitter the other day, trending was COVID toe. And I said, what, COVID toe? I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then I go and I see a press conference. Oh, he's showing his foot. He literally is picking up his foot and showing it to the camera. And I'm like, wait, what? What is going on here?
And now he's walked it back and said that it's not COVID toe. It's just it's just a fracture. And now he's demanding an apology from the Wall Street Journal and from Molly Knight. Even though Molly Knight did not write the article, just because she shared it on Twitter, he's going after her.
RELAX.
I mean, really? Hey, Karen, take a seat, will you?
Take a seat. Instead of taking your shoes off to relax, maybe you should put your shoes back on.
Yeah, you know what? Focus on playing football. I know that's a spectator sport for you these days, but why don't you focus on the money, that game you're being paid a lot of money for?
Focus on football and not football.
Ugh. Okay. Ugh. Ugh.
All right. Let's get into the stories that we're supposed to get into now. So let's start things off with a rumble in the NBA arena. LeBron James, Isaiah Stewart throwing hands. Wait, what's that? What's that I hear? I think I hear Vince McMahon in the distance.
I think I do too. I also hear Adam Silver in the distance saying, hey, favoritism line one? Oh, yeah, I hear that too.
All right, so let's talk about what exactly happens here. So LeBron James, Isaiah Stewart, we were in the midst of a Lakers game. LeBron was, I believe he was under the basket and ends up throwing an elbow.
It was a free throw.
It was a free throw, okay. And LeBron ends up elbowing Isaiah Stewart. And later on, we see Isaiah Stewart coming after LeBron, Ultimate Warrior style, just charging after LeBron. And it just gets absolutely out of hand. And we're thinking, oh my God, hopefully this doesn't evolve into Malice at the Palace too.
I mean, everyone was saying that. I knew it was not going to be Malice at the Palace. First of all, the fans weren't involved. But I love how every time a fight breaks out at Auburn Hills in Detroit, that they have to say, the announcer has to say, please don't leave your seats. Please don't walk on the court. That's all from the Malice at the Palace, by the way.
I was going to say, that just shows how strong the aftermath of that event was. By the way, LeBron James, both men were ejected. LeBron James, first time ejected in his NBA career. 17
years. And what's so crazy to me about this, first of all, he got him good with that elbow to the point where his face was gushing out all over the place, Isaiah Stewart. And he's a big man. He's a center. And you know what? I don't blame Isaiah Stewart, first of all, because LeBron has had it way too easy over the years. And people need to stop being afraid of LeBron James already. I'm done. Just stop. One day, LeBron is going to get knocked on his ass, and I'm going to laugh.
I mean, as pissed off as Isaiah Stewart was, you can't just go after LeBron like how he did.
Well, the one thing
you know what's going to happen.
What I was going to say is I don't agree with his actions. That I've said many times, that I don't agree with Isaiah Stewart's actions of running all over the court, knocking over his assistant coaches in the middle of the court, going through players. The funniest part of that whole thing was he ran outside the bench area and behind the locker rooms to try to go to the other side.
Here's the thing. You're saying crying favoritism. I think if Isaiah Stewart doesn't do all that crazy stuff, I think he only gets one game.
But at the same time, LeBron, and this is what really got me annoyed, the NBA came out, I don't remember the direct quote, and said there was malicious content with the elbow. So if there's malicious content with the elbow, how did the instigator get less games than the guy who's trying to defend himself?
I think LeBron could have gotten a second game. I'm just saying, I think Isaiah Stewart made the case a little worse for himself by acting like a maniac running all over the place.
And I agree with you, totally. Isaiah Stewart was wrong for some of the stuff that he did. But at the same time, go in his shoes for a second. If you get completely elbowed in the face and your face just gushes out of nowhere and you can't control it, wouldn't you be mad in the moment also?
I would be mad, but I'd be worried about stopping the blood that's coming out of my nose and trying to repair my nose, not the fact that, LeBron James was the one who elbowed me.
But at the same time, you feel like you're being shown off against when you get elbowed in the face like that because he's the instigator. I mean, this is not even half the stuff that I'm angry with LeBron about right now, including the whole commenting about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, and we'll save that for another time. But this was wrong. Adam Silver obviously was doing this looking at the bottom line.
Okay, no, I wasn't even gonna go with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. I was gonna go with a thing that happened the next game, when LeBron ended up getting a couple of Pacers fans ejected out of the seat. Now, supposedly, these fans were mocking LeBron, and not just mocking LeBron. I mean, that comes with any place where you go, but supposedly saying that Bronny, LeBron's son, who's supposedly going to be drafted in the next couple of years, should die in a car wreck or something like that.
Well, I don't have confirmation on that. If that's the case, by the way, shame on the fans, if that's what they're saying. But at the same time, fans pay for their seats. I'm not saying what they did was acceptable. If that's what they said, then they deserve to be thrown out of the arena and not allowed back in. But players shouldn't have the power to get fans thrown out of an arena unless they're doing something abusive to them. Fans scream. Yeah, we had this conversation back in the COVID, when COVID was at its height. Who was it? In the Celtics game, they threw the water bottle?
Celtics game, a Knicks game, a 76ers game. I think NBA fans are starting to get a little out of control.
I agree, but at the same time, I think that's ridiculous that NBA players can get fans thrown out of an arena. Let the security determine that.
Okay, let me do what you just did to me. Put yourself in LeBron's shoes. If you had a son and you heard fans making comments about how your son should die in a car wreck, wouldn't you want those fans nowhere near your site?
I think, just from my point of view, I would at least go over and have the discussion and find out why it's being said. First of all, that's just me. Why are you saying it? What's the motive? And if the motive is a threat, then I would throw them out.
But if you don't have that time, you're not going to have that time because you got a game to play.
But was it before the game? That's what I don't know.
It was during the game.
Well, all right. If it's during the game, you have a whole different issue because you can't stop and think at that point. If it's during the game, then yeah, they probably have to be thrown out. But if it's before the game, I'd want to hear the point of view. Why are you saying it? Why? Because this is the problem. As NBA stars, we don't try to make friends with the fans. We try to make enemies at times with the fans. The fans pay to keep the game going.
But if you look at the reactions of those fans, the mock frown face from the girl, I don't think they cared about being friends.
But I'm saying, if NBA stars did more of a due diligence to understand the fans' point of view, then maybe fans wouldn't give them as much of a hard time, is what I'm saying. LeBron does so many horrible things. And Nick got on me on Beyond the Bench or other show that I'm being too cynical about LeBron discussing.
I think you are a little bit.
But I just think it's ridiculous that he has points of views about some things and not points of views about other things. Like, don't comment about anything. Just play the game, make your millions of dollars, which is what you're doing, And of course,
but but you're going on the shut up and dribble route.
no, I'm not. And I had
yes,
to,
you are.
I had to describe this to Nick too. I said he can have all the opinions he wants privately in his life. I don't want to hear it when he's playing on the court.
That's shut up and dribble.
Why?
Because he can't comment publicly.
I just think he's being hypocritical by not saying something about the Peng Shui situation and having comments about the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. They're both political. So now I know why he didn't comment on the Peng Shui thing, because they were already burned, the NBA, by a China situation. So that's why he didn't comment. But just don't comment then.
I mean, I'll give you credit when it was that, last year when we had the Stop Asian Hate. Actually, not even last year. It might have been earlier this year, late last year. We had the Stop Asian Hate movement when Jeremy Lin made mention of how he was called coronavirus on the court, and the NBA said nothing. So that, to that degree, I will give you some credit. But an individual, it's harder to do to target an individual when than a whole league. You get what I'm saying?
I understand, and we talked about this, Nick and I, that apparently Fox News reached out to LeBron and his team. And if you remember this name, Adam Mendelsohn, his guy, we talked about a story about him and the whole controversy with China and everything that happened. And ironically, they gave no answer, nothing. And that's why I'm confused, because you're willing to speak publicly about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, but you won't comment on Peng Shui. And the Peng Shui situation is worse because we don't know what her safety is. Was my whole point. Kyle Rittenhouse, the case is over. Why are you still commenting about it? That's the thing I can't figure out.
Sorry, I'm reading a breaking news report that apparently essential travelers at U.S. land borders will have to be fully vaccinated starting January 22nd. I'm trying to see if there was anything. All it talks about is foreign government officials, truck drivers. I'm not seeing anything about athletes, but that gets me kind of curious.
Well, if it's athletes, then games are gonna get canceled, because then some people are not going to get vaccinated if they have to travel.
Yeah, I'd say nothing big, no biggie kind of thing just yet, but I guess something to keep our eye on for the future.
Here's the deal. If a full COVID mandate goes into effect with athletes, you're going to lose games. I'm just going to say it right now. Games are going to get canceled because some are going to refuse.
You're going to have, you might have replacement players. You might have scabs.
Oh no, we're going to go from replacement refs to replacement players.
We'll probably have replacement refs too.
All right.
Somebody call Vince McMahon. Let's get the XFL back up and running. Oh wait, no, that's under Rock's territory now.
Yeah, it's right.
We're gonna Rock now.
You know what? We might need the XBA and the XLB and the XHL.
I'm telling you, the XBA. Let's have it like that old jam ball thing. You have trampolines everywhere, slam dunks everywhere. Please.
Yes, let's do it. I mean, and I want NBA Jam style too. I want people being able to knock people over.
I want if that's the case, I want the commentary style to be NBA Jam style too. Tonight's matchup: Knicks versus Lakers. Boom shakalaka.
I love that game. What was it? GameCube, I think that was on.
No, that was like SNES and N64.
No, but they had other versions of it, I think.
Oh, they had future versions. Yeah.
And you get the weird sound effects when you made the moves back and forth with the points.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that game so much.
All right. Let's talk about something a little happier. I'm very sad that Nick is not here for this, and I'm very sad that because of copyright reasons, we can't do my old thing where when somebody got dismissed here in New York, we would play Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. But Jason Garrett has been fired as the offensive coordinator of the New York Giants following their loss last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you know what this is going to resolve? Nothing!
Absolutely nothing. And I can't even play the other thing because we got copyrighted for that in a few episodes, so I can't even play that one either.
So all I'm going to say is, well, first of all, as much as I think it's going to do absolutely nothing, You know my opinion. I was never a fan of this move. I was never a fan of Jason Garrett. I was questioning why the Giants would hire him as an offensive coordinator. What was that? End of 2019 after they
Yeah,
fired Shermer.
it was 2019. I'm surprised they kept him for 2 seasons. I was hearing the other day. The
Oh, they
only
didn't
reason,
even technically make it a second season.
no, I'm surprised he got into season 2 after everything that went down. They didn't want to change the coordinator, and from what I'm hearing, the Maras apparently had like a love fest with Jason Garrett also.
I'll never understand it. So Maras are having a love fest with Jason Garrett, and Des Bryant's having a hate fest with him, coming out and saying all that it was miserable playing under Garrett. Des, I have a question. Did you catch that ball?
Did you catch that ball?
According to the refs, no.
No. I mean, I hate to say this, I'm going to say it again. I said it in the promo. At least you're not a Jets fan.
Yeah, but now you gotta think. Now you gotta think what comes next for the Giants. Are they going to keep? It seems like they've already exercised the 5th-year option on Saquon, so it looks like he'll be coming back in 2022. Are you going to have Danny Jones back in 2022? If you're going to get rid of Saquon or Danny or Joe Judge, but then you got to question, are you going to bring Dave Gettleman back in 2022? Which I don't think so. I think the Maras said that they wanted improvement. The Maras said they wanted the division title and not seen that this season. No, but I thought it was laughable. But okay, Maras, you got to live up to your word now. You got to get rid of Gettleman. If they don't get rid of Gettleman, sell the team. Sell the team.
You suck.
I mean, yeah, the way the Giants, the way New York football looks lately, I should say, the management on both sides doesn't know how to draft. They don't know how to keep players healthy. They don't know how to play defense. I'm looking at you, Jets, by the way. And I can't believe they brought Barkley back on the 5th-year option. That was quick.
That I thought they were gonna let it go into this season, this coming off season. Now here comes the question that we've been having, that we were just debating the other day. This was posed in New York media recently. The Giants have 2 first-round picks. Now, the draft class coming into this coming off season, you have like 2 or 3 quarterbacks maybe, and the rest of the class kind of sucks. It's a downgrade from the last few off seasons. So if you move on from Danny Jones, it looks like you're going to need a veteran holdover until you can draft the next future franchise quarterback. Now you're going to have a couple of options in this coming offseason. I think Cam's deal is obviously going to run out after the season, so you're going to have Cam Newton on the table. Karen Rodgers and the Packers are going to part ways after this season, so Karen's going to be on the table. And as much as Karen Rodgers has been kind of, I'm going to do this for the rest of this episode now.
Me too.
As much as Karen Rodgers is Karen Rodgers and has had the season that he's had, there's no denying that he has the potential to turn a team around.
You're missing a name, though. You're missing a name, though.
I was going to get to it. As much as he would be readily available, there is a team that is an absolute dumpster fire that has had a downgrade this season, that his name has been rumored the last couple of off seasons that might be available over in Seattle, Russell Wilson. And if I will say this, if the Seattle came to me and said, okay, your 2 first rounders this year and your first rounder next year for Russell Wilson, absolutely.
Yeah, I think
for 2 years of Russell Wilson and maybe more, absolutely.
Yeah, I said this to you guys, and Nick almost had a fit over when I brought this up. And how can you not? Russell Wilson is still, I guess, technically in his prime when it comes to playing in the NFL as a quarterback. Now you're going to have to bring in better options to incentivize Russell Wilson to come in.
And that's the thing. I don't think Danny is as good as Eli, but I think the problem with Danny, one of the problems with Danny is look at the options around him. And we even said this coming into this season. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, the guy they got from the Lions. Oh, Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney. decent, but that's not an all-star wide receiver.
That group, I would call a C- at best.
And Evan Engram, get rid of him. He should have been gone after he pretty much cost them the division last season.
How many times have you said to get rid of Evan Engram over the years?
He had he was good his rookie season, and then afterwards
when was his rookie season?
2017. That's when everybody got hurt except for Eli and Evan Engram.
I mean, the way I look at it's hard to say this because as a Jets fan, we can't do anything right at all with injuries, with anything. But looking at the Giants situation, if they're going to bring in Russell Wilson and they're going to expand those 2 picks, first-round picks, which are valuable in any draft, in any league, the NFL, first-round picks are currency in today's game. But you're going to have to go out and make even more deals. You're going to have to go out and get a top flight wide receiver. I hate to say it, you don't have a top flight wide receiver on your roster.
The thing I was talking about with you guys was also we've seen, over the last several seasons now, you don't need, and something that the Giants and myself as a growing football fan over the last several years have learned, you don't need a first-round pick to acquire a top level wide receiver or top level running back. Think about Antonio Brown. He was a sixth round pick. Tom Brady, at the quarterback helm, infamously a 6th-round pick. I'm trying to think in my head of like Odell Beckham was a 1st-round pick, and as talented as he is, I feel like you could get better. You could get just as good options in those 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds. That's something that we've learned is that these weapon positions you can get even if they're not in the 1st round.
Right. And the Giants need to improve. First of all, Danny Jones is going to be gone one way or the other. If it's not this coming year, it's going to be the year after. He's going to get 1 more year, depending on who the GM is going to be. I don't think it's going to be Gettleman. Gettleman is on thinner than thin ice at this point.
No, I think the ice has collapsed under Gettleman. Again, the Maras with their stupid, we can win and rebuild at the same time kind of mentality. It number one, it doesn't work. We've seen it time and time again. It doesn't work. And, they said they have to show improvements. And right now they have 3 wins? The only way they show improvement is if they get 2 or 3 wins in the next 5 weeks. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, they got to live up to their word. They said Gettleman would be gone if that didn't happen.
Yeah, but we've seen the Giants go back on their word before, haven't we? I mean,
I know. But then comes also the other thing. If you keep everybody but just fire Gettleman, are you essentially saying we're going to let Joe Judge pick his general manager?
That's a mistake. We've learned from many situations, many, many, many times. Stan Van Gundy with the Pelicans in the NBA. Look what Tom Thibodeau when he was with the Timberwolves.
The Jets, a couple of seasons ago, with Adam Gase. What?
No, I'm just like, I know, I'm just frustrating.
All right. Speaking of, let's get off of the Giants. Let's go on to the Jets. So, Zach Wilson is returning from the Jets. He is returning from injury, and he is pretty much forced to return. Why? Because Mike White has tested positive for COVID, and Joe Flacco, who is unvaccinated, has been deemed a close contact. So both White and Flacco will be unavailable.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize how bad the Jets were. Well, let's see. Zach Wilson out for 4 weeks with a sprained knee, finally back. Mike White testing positive, like you said. Thinks he should have been the 1st overall pick.
After the performance he had last week, that's debatable.
After 4 interceptions and a horrible game, Joe Flacco unvaccinated. That just adds a New York Jets twist to this whole story.
So I have a silly question, but who's after Wilson and White and Flacco? I don't think you guys have another quarterback.
Johnson.
Oh, was he practice squad?
They moved him up. He's now the backup. Josh Johnson.
Right, no, what I'm saying, you were going to have to be forced to bring.
He played already in a game. This is just like a real carousel right here.
And the screwed up part is the Lions are probably going to go 0-16-1 to ensure that you guys aren't going to get the first pick again.
God damn it! Again! And you know what? The Jets will win another game or two somehow randomly down the stretch because that's what they do. And, I mean, just speaking of Lions, how did the Bears only win by 2 points on Thanksgiving Day? How?
Because they're the Bears, and the Bears absolutely suck. That's why the Giants' other first-round pick is so valuable.
I mean, do you remember in the minute what I referred to the Jets as?
I was just going to give you the J-E-S-T, just.
Just enough to survive. That's what the Jets stand for. And actually, you know what? They're not even just enough to survive. Right now, they're underwater. They're so underwater that the Titanic would beat them.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Anyone who thinks that I'm being complete, that we're going to get canceled now because I insulted the Titanic, but whatever.
I mean, all I can say in terms of the Giants and their picks is thanks, Nagy and company, for your first rounder.
Yeah.
I hope that move for Fields was worth it.
By the way, did you see the rumor report that Nagy almost was going to be fired after the Lions game and he had to come out and refute it?
Yeah.
They're not firing me. Yeah, I'm going to walk out myself.
And you know what? If they had lost on Thanksgiving, they probably would have.
Talk about a real turkey.
Actually, speaking of upsets, Michigan is about to beat Ohio State. It's almost official. 42-27.
It's a miracle.
First win for Michigan against Ohio State since 2011. First win against Ohio State for Mr. Jim Harbaugh.
Congratulations, dickweeds!
Well, Ohio State, congratulations. You just played yourself out of the playoff.
Oh, man. I mean, we see Alabama losing games. We see Ohio losing games.
You know what's the screwed up part? Alabama could be a 2-loss team and they'll still be in the playoff.
Well, yeah, because it's the money is made with Alabama being in and Nick Saban being in. Come on, are you new here?
All right, let's talk a little something serious now. Vikings Everson Griffen is on the non-ill reserve list after quite a disturbing incident at his home. He's receiving mental health treatment.
Yeah, this one, when I saw this, I was very confused. And then once I read into what the situation, he thought someone was in his house, so he shot off his gun in the middle of his house, but there really was no one there.
Yeah, and now he's being taken to a mental health facility. He posted a video on his Instagram where basically he said someone's trying to kill him. He's fired a shot. Nobody was actually at his home. The video has since been taken down, but it's disturbing.
You know, it's disturbing. I think we've seen more incidents from the NFL over this 2-year COVID pandemic.
I was going to make mention that I'm getting kind of flashbacks to earlier in the offseason when Richard Sherman, the disturbing video of him trying to get into, what was it, his own home with his girlfriend?
It was either like the parents of the girlfriend. I don't remember 100%. We showed it. If you go back, and I don't remember what episode it was, but it was caught on the Ring video doorbell camera. Him like trying to
we had the 911 call as well.
Yeah, that was disturbing. Now, the NFL's got to get its shit together and figure out what the hell is going on in the minds of some of these players and getting the mental health. You don't see this, at least you don't see it very publicly, in the NBA or MLB, especially MLB. You don't hear about many domestic incidents except, well, over the last year, you had Aroldis Chapman and I don't know, who were the others?
The guy from the Braves, Ozuna
and Starlin Castro.
Yeah.
But MLB, like, it's very quiet. And the NFL, it's public. Very public.
Well, I mean, we've seen for the longest time, like over a decade now, the NFL needs to do more in terms of the mental health for its own athletes, both active and retired.
Right. And you know what? Like we talked about the Henry Ruggs situation with the 156 miles an hour driving, double the blood alcohol limit, and the loaded gun. First of all, and this is not me being insulting or biased in any way, have we noticed that a lot of incidents happening with the NFL is with guns?
Yeah.
That should point out the problems that the NFL is having right there.
Again, they need to do more for their athletes. They'll have to do more for the city of St. Louis as well, by the way, moving on to our next topic. The Rams and the NFL have settled a lawsuit with the city of St. Louis. They will pay $790 million as a result of the move of the Rams from St. Louis to Los Angeles in 2016. No word yet on how the money is going to be paid out, in terms of the split between the team and the league.
Look at all the failure.
I mean, that's my first response. First of all, now, from the reports I read in this story, this has to do with the relocation fee. Because now, I love how the Rams, at the time, St. Louis Rams, basically said, hey, we're going to pick everything up. We're going to leave our fans behind. We're going to say, hasta la vista, baby. And we're going to go to Los Angeles. And we're just going to start a new life. It's basically like you were in a relationship. You were engaged. You're about to propose. And then you have a girlfriend in another state. And you say, hi, I'm moving in with you. Screw my engagement. And I'm leaving everything behind to go live with that woman instead. I mean, seriously.
I mean, yeah, kind of like that. And you know what's messed up? So we have had rumors for a couple of months now that the NFL might be looking into expansion. And obviously, we've had the rumors for some time about a potential London team and the logistical nightmare that would present. But in terms of local, places, in terms of the United States, one particular city that would be towards the top of the list for an expansion. Oh, hi, St. Louis. You want another team?
I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. By the way, what people don't realize, and people say, oh, well, the 32 owners should split the bill on the $790 million. Newsflash to everybody. Stan Kroenke is worth $12 billion. $12 billion. You're telling me he's looking for help on this?
I mean, you know what we talked about with owners protecting owners.
There's no protecting Stan Kroenke in this situation. He screwed over the St. Louis fans and picked up the team and moved it to LA. Now, I guarantee you Roger Goodell and the NFL were going rah, rah, rah in the background because they finally had a team back in Los Angeles where they wanted a team. That's where the NFL Network studios are. That's where Red Zone is. That's where all the player development is. So secretly, Roger Goodell is sitting on his chair or in his bubble bath drinking wine and basically saying, yes, we're back in Los Angeles. We did it.
All right. Speaking of owners and money issues. Oh, let's flip to MLB. Hi, Steve Cohen. How are you?
I thought I was done with this guy.
Okay, so Steve Cohen posted an interesting tweet just the other day when he was talking about, he was basically saying that he was not happy this morning. I'm not happy this morning. I've never seen such unprofessional behavior exhibited by a player's agent. I guess words and promises don't matter. Then the story comes out per multiple insiders that basically Steven Matz had given his word that basically he had unfinished business in New York and was going to come back and was going to help lead the Mets to victory. And instead turns around and signs a 4-year, $44 million deal with the St. Louis Cardinals.
I hate you. Get the out of here.
And that was pretty much Matz and the agent's response.
I hate to say this, and I said this in the promo again. So I'm just going to say this. Does Steve Cohen know what business he's in? That he works for a hedge fund? He's a financial skank. I'm sorry, but that's true. That he basically bamboozled Smeckledorf. Yes, I'm stealing every SpongeBob reference there is. He bamboozled money away from people. And he's going to complain that a player said, "Hi, I'm coming back to the Mets." Oh, wait, never mind that. My pinky swear means nothing. I'm going to a team that's actually going to win.
All I can picture now is you as Stephen A. Smith. We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Kwame Brown should not have been the #1 pick.
Oh my god, I'm getting flashbacks of that report when the Lakers traded for Gasol and they traded a bunch of pieces away, and he's like, it's a victory for the Lakers just because they got rid of Kwame Brown.
But you know what, Steve Cohen, leave it to another rich billionaire owner worth 11 to 13 or probably closer to $15 billion, and he's complaining that a player said, "I'm going to take the money." Jeez, Mr. I'm a greedy owner who will do anything to keep his money.
Let's see, Steve Cohen worth $11 billion according to Bloomberg.
Okay, so $40 million is really going to make him feel awful. Ouch! He probably reached into his back pocket, pulled out a check for $40 million and wiped his ass with it.
I thought you were going to say wipe his tears with it.
Well, that too. I mean, he wiped his tears and then he went out and spent money. So I don't know what the problem is here.
Okay, so in response to what seems like in response to Matz's deal with the Cardinals, the Mets then go just the other day, actually just yesterday, and you said, you know what? We're going to spend a combined $125 million between deals with all-star infielder Eduardo Escobar, outfielder Matt Canha, and all-star outfielder, two-time Gold Glove outfielder Starling Marte, who is coming off a career year where he hit 310, stole like 40 plus bases, hit 19 home runs.
I mean, that's all I can say there. So he cried because he didn't spend $44 million plus a $4 million incentive to make it 48, but he goes out and spends $125 million. Good math. That's the new math, as my parents would say.
And they're looking to add more, specifically to their pitching to replace Matz, and they're looking at Kevin Gausman and Max Scherzer.
Okay, I'm going to dispel this rumor right now, okay? Max Scherzer is never coming to New York. Never!
He has said, Max Scherzer has said he does not want to play in New York.
No.
I wish he would so he could join the Yankees.
It's not happening. It's definitely not happening. I mean, look at all this money! Really?
And you know what's the sick part? Is it even going to make a difference? Think about this. In their first season with Cohen as owner, as bad as the NL East was, even though the Braves only won 88 games and still won the World Series, as bad as the NL East was, by the time of the All-Star break, the Mets were first place in the NL East. They held first place in the NL East for a good portion, and then absolutely collapsed after the All-Star break and missed the playoffs.
It's the 09 collapse all over again.
Right, but that's my point. Is this even going to matter? You know what? They won the NL pennant in 15. I said this. I'm saying exactly what I said in the minute this morning. They won the pennant in 15. They made the playoffs in 16, put up a hell of a fight against the Giants in the NL wildcard game that year. And since then, it has just been injury after, failed to live up to performance, failed to live up to potential for some of these guys, and has just been missed playoff. They even missed the playoffs when, it was 8 teams from each league and that expanded 16-team weird, bizarre thing in 2020. So,
Look at all the failure!
Until I see that, the Mets are back in the postseason, these moves are never gonna matter. But what do we say, guys? What do we say? SOM. Same old Mets.
By the way, hi, Steve Cohen, if you're watching, because I know you are very active on social media. So if you see this, hi, you're a terrible owner and a terrible guy. You're a really bad guy. And then now that I said that, this is going to happen. So, yeah.
How many accounts have you been blocked by on your personal Twitter?
Just Deshaun Watson right now. But Deshaun Watson deserved it in every way, shape, or form. I'm still living rent-free in Deshaun Watson's head, at least.
All right, we got a couple more stories we got to get to before we get to the rapid rundown. So, speaking of spending money, so the Rays, we were just talking the other day. The Rays, oh, they're terrible for baseball. They don't spend. They what are they ever gonna do? Hi, Wander Franco, who hasn't played a full season of MLB yet. He entered this last season as the #1 overall prospect in MLB. Made his MLB debut. 11-year, $182 million extension.
12 years, 223 million total.
Are you kidding me?
By the way, this is a record for service time. Getting a contract.
No kidding. No kidding.
Just in case people didn't know. Yeah.
Okay, but he said, but less than a year on the MLB squad.
And by the way, this is the question, and I've been hearing this all over sports talk radio and TV. People want to get rid of the service time rule. That's one of the negotiations. And by the way, if you want to check out, we have our MLB Lockout countdown clock that we are keeping as well. I don't know. Do we have that or no?
We haven't posted it. We haven't posted it anywhere just yet, but I can actually bring it up right now. Hang on one second here.
While he's doing that, I'll improvise.
Okay, I got it. Here we go. So 4 days. Oh wait. Oh, I gotta add that to the. Okay, there we go. 4 days, 8 hours, 13 minutes, and 34 seconds. Lockout draws near.
This is our official countdown clock. So if you wanted to, we're going to show this from time to time when the deadline comes up. But all right, you can go back to the other one so we can finish talking about that. So Wander Franco, big time prospect. Looks like he's going to work out in studs.
He's amazing. But it's been less than a year. Why are you giving him all this money, especially when you have the reputation of being such a small market franchise that you're not willing to spend money? Why?
You know why? Because this is actually, believe it or not, I think you know what I'm about to say. This is actually cheap. Yes.
Let's do some math here. All right. So what is this? 182 million?
I would do the full deal though. So it's 12 years, 223 million. So I do
223 divided by 12. Oh, 18.5 million a year.
What did I tell you? It's cheap. I know, 18.58 million. People are going to say, Nick, what the fuck is wrong with you? What do you mean 18.58 is cheap? In baseball, excuse me, anything under 20 million is cheap.
All I can hear now are birds. Cheap, 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 cheap.
I should get that one next.
You know what's the sad part? The sick part? At least the Mets and the Rays are spending money. Yanks, what are you doing?
Apparently nothing right now. Apparently just getting rid of Clint Frazier and
Tyler Wade
and Odor.
The goddamn Angels.
Did he or no?
Yeah, the Wade went to the Angels.
He's going to be. That's going to be good.
Speaking of cheap, talk is cheap.
Well, yeah, talk is very cheap, by the way. But I think this is a good deal. They got their money. Anything under 20 million is cheap. Would you agree in MLB that's cheap?
But I would not have given an extension. You know, he was on his rookie deal. I think, okay, he had a great 21. He's got, what you could have a sophomore slump next season.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's normal. So, and then people will question the deal anyway when he goes through his sophomore slump. Oh, why would you give him a 11-year extension after less than a year of service time? You know what? I love how you have couch sports fans that judge every move that's being done, but they are probably...
Wait, what does that make us then?
We're not couch fans. We actually watch the games and we actually understand analysis. I'm talking about fans that literally sit on the couch, do no research, do nothing, and they judge the movement of everything.
Again, the MLB and MLBPA negotiations are drawing near. December 1st, 11:59:59 seconds. A deal has to be made, or else we have a lockout.
Yeah.
Now, supposedly the outlook is, and it has been, that lockout will happen, but the two sides would make a agreement by February to ensure that no spring training, no games, no nothing would be canceled.
I'm going to say, and I heard Christopher Mad Dog Russo on Sirius XM, who really knows this stuff well. I agree with him. I think the pressure date is going to be February 15th.
I agree. That's around the time, because usually it's like February 10th, 11th, 12th pitchers and catchers report. So that's really when you're going to see. That's when you're going to see, probably a deal has to be made by that point. We had a little bit of a flurry of free agency moves because of the fear of the deadline, and we're going to have that. We're probably going to have nothing for a few months, and then February, that second half of February, we're probably going to have another surge of free agency signings.
I think you're going to see a delay because even if, like, say you don't get a deal to February 15th, people are not going to train until they know if there's going to be a season. So here's my. So if a lockout happens, well, it's going to happen. Does that mean the December general manager meetings are postponed as well? Well, players are not going to be allowed to participate in anything, so you kind of can't. Legally, you need a collective bargaining agreement to make deals, right?
True.
So if there's no deal, the way I'm going to see it is with a lockout, no deals, no money, no games, and then you're going to see the owners crying poverty again, like they did during COVID.
All right, let's get to a little happier times. It's rapid rundown time. Let's get through our picks for Week 12. Bit of a shorter week this week because we had 3 games on Thanksgiving. The horrible Cowboys loss, which was hilarious to watch. You have actually, it ended up being also the one good game this week. I got the good game of the week wrong, of Thanksgiving wrong, because the Bills absolutely destroyed the Saints, and Lions Bears was one of the most depressing things I've ever seen.
Wait, so how did we do on Thanksgiving week? Did we all pick the same outcomes?
Yeah, we all picked the Bears, who barely won. We picked the Cowboys to easily beat the Raiders, which was embarrassing on our part. And then we picked the Bills.
So we're 2-1?
2-1. Yeah, we're 2-1 this week. Man, I was going to say, the Thanksgiving game should have been a lot better than they were.
Can we take the Lions off the Thanksgiving matinee?
It's never going to happen. Lions, Cowboys are always Thanksgiving.
No, but like I was listening again on the radio. People are saying, like, why is everyone like bowing down to the Lions on Thanksgiving? I don't understand that.
Because tradition.
Tradition. Oh, sorry. Wrong holiday. Anyway, I was going to say that the Lions suck. The Lions have not been good for, seems like, decades.
I know.
Why are we putting them on primetime games? Why?
Because Detroit.
Detroit. I could give 2 craps.
All right, let's quickly move through our rapid rundown for the week. So we start things off in Jacksonville with the Falcons and the Jaguars. The Falcons only a -1 favorite. You know what? Trevor Lawrence, as much as I say this, I feel like I say this on a weekly basis. I like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's a stud at QB, but the weapons around him are pathetic.
0
weapons. Look, I know people like in the fantasy world, they're always high on Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark, who's I think been injured most of the season, but no. The only good people to own fantasy wise for Jacksonville are Lawrence, actually even that one's debatable because of the James Robinson. And if you're in Dynasty and you need rookie shares, Travis Etienne, who was hurt this season, but will probably overtake Lawrence on the depth chart. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. Falcons are a much better team, even with how mixed they can be. Take the money.
Yeah, take the money. But I would say that I wouldn't even take Trevor Lawrence because he's a pick machine lately. So I wouldn't even do that either. But yeah, take the money.
The Jets and the Texans. The Texans are a -2.5 favorite at home. I mean, the Jets suck. The Texans, again, are a very weird team. They can come out firing one half and then just be a load of crap, the worst team of football the next half. But because I can never really pick the Jets, take the money. I think Tyrod might have a field day.
That's all I have.
J-O-K-E, joke.
This would be the one game that they stupidly would win, by the way, but no.
Probably. Watch us be wrong on that end.
Yeah.
Eagles and the Giants. Eagles are a -3.5 favorite. it's Michael Strahan's retirement, jersey retirement. I would say you have to win that game, but my faith in the Giants has been absolutely destroyed. And you know what? Nick Federa got us for once last week. The Eagles ended up beating the Raiders, I think it was.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, in shocking fashion, actually.
So you know what? You got to go Eagles. Take the money.
Yeah, I think Michael Strahan going to space for 11 minutes is more doable than the Giants beating the Eagles at this point.
Jalen Hurts, have a day.
Yeah.
Patriots and Titans. Patriots -6. Now, normally, that sounds normal because Foxborough. However, big news for the Titans. Julio Jones has been injured for a few weeks now. And now, Derrick Henry as well. And now to report, A.J. Brown placed on injured reserve. Tannehill, as much as Tannehill has been incredible the last couple of seasons, no weapons around him is brutal. Mac Jones might just have another day. Take the money.
I mean, what's so interesting about this kind of reminds me of the Cubs a couple decades ago with Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood and all the big names, and they couldn't stay healthy. Everyone said, oh, the Cubs are going to win the World Series. They're the biggest team in MLB. People were saying that about the Titans as well. Having A.J. Brown.
Hey, the Mets we've been talking about. The Mets a couple of seasons. All this great pitching talent. Crack, injured.
Right. So, obviously take the money. But the Titans, if they actually had their team, I think the Titans would almost be favored in this game.
Absolutely. It shouldn't have to be this way. It shouldn't have to, but
Tannehill just is a flight risk anyway.
But you have to give credit where credit is due. Mac Jones has kind of helped lead this team, the Patriots, back to relevance after a season in the dumps after the post-Brady move to Tampa.
And he's playing well. He's doing the things he should be doing. Did he get off to a little rocky start? Yes, but now he's finding his footing, and I think he's going to be there for a while, many years.
Steelers and the Bengals. The Bengals -4.5. Finally, the Bengals being given respect.
Yeah, it's true, and I'm just going to get right to it. Take the money. Take that money, and thumbs down to Ben Roethlisberger this week. Everybody, I was saying this to Tom before we started. Everybody is down on Big Ben. Everybody.
I mean, again, the only Steeler that is, especially with TJ Watt. Now, I mean, Minka Fitzpatrick is back from the reserve list, but right now, the only Steeler I am ever high on is Najee Harris, who is going to be the future of the Steelers team.
I hope they can keep him.
Buccaneers and the Colts. The Bucs a -3 favorite. I know the Bucs have been playing but you know what? What did I say? They should make a statement against the Giants. They should win by double digits. They did. Take that money.
Yeah, take the money. But what's so interesting when we talked about this last week, that they totally got demolished by the Redskins. Brady threw 2 picks.
You mean the Washington football team?
Oh God. That's it. I'm doing it to myself.
Don't feel too bad. Troy Aikman did that on the Thanksgiving broadcast with the Bears and Lions.
Wait, I missed that. Really?
Yeah.
They should have a swear jar just for that word in general.
I shall send you it later. I got
to see that. But yes, the Bucs, I think, finally said, hey, you know what? We're the bully dominant team, not the Washington football team, not the Colts. The Colts are good. Jonathan Taylor, top running back in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that's going to keep the Colts in this game.
Jonathan Taylor might be the number 1 fantasy pick next year.
Oh, yeah. Take the money, though, like I said.
Panthers and the Dolphins. The Panthers are -1.5 favorite. Put some more respect on Cam Newton's name. I know they also lost to Washington last week, but Cam has looked pretty damn good in his first 2 weeks back in the NFL. The Dolphins, I mean, what do they really have outside of Myles Gaskin? Not much. Take that money.
I'm down on Tua, by the way, in every way, shape, or form, between the injuries. And I love how everyone, over the last couple of years when he came into the league, he's going to be the next big guy. He can run the football. He can throw the football. No, take the money.
I mean, Joe Burrow looking, like worth the number 1 pick from 2020. Tua went number 5. Oh, I was gonna say who got taken after Tua? Oh, it was Herbert. Herbert looking like he should have been number 1 or number 2 overall.
Can you imagine if those two were switched?
If Herbert was playing in Miami?
Yeah.
Miami probably would be doing a lot better. Certainly Los Angeles would be doing a lot worse.
We wouldn't be having this whole rebirth in Los Angeles if Herbert wasn't there. Let's just put it that way.
Speaking of Herbert, Chargers a -2.5 favorite against the Broncos. That's, I don't want to say an easy take the money because that's divisional, and we know how divisional football can be. But that's still take the money in my book.
Yeah. Take the money. I like this. I'm still sticking with my statement. You can go back and look when we started.
And have I not agreed with you?
No, totally. Top 3 MVP. I think he could be the MVP the way he's playing. I know everyone's going to say, because Tom Brady and his age, give him the MVP. No. Justin Herbert. I'm going to put it on the table now. Justin Herbert's going to be the MVP this year.
He should be. Right now, he should be. Going across California to the 49ers. 49ers a -3 favorite over the Vikings. I'm surprised the 49ers are the favorite in spite of the Vikings win over the Packers.
This line makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Where did the 49ers even play week 11? Oh, they beat Jacksonville 30-10. That's Jacksonville. Come on.
Are you kidding?
You know what? I'm just because I can't express my fandom for New York, I had a feeling, like I had that gut feeling about the Packers last week. I said, no, stay with the pack. Stay with the pack. You know what? I'm going to show some pride in one of my teams, at least my dad's team and Nick Federa's that team. Upset City. Vikings will beat the Niners this week.
Yeah, this line is ridiculous. Like you said, the Niners came off a victory against the Jaguars. What does that prove? That proves nothing. You know who had the big win last week? The Vikings against the Packers. Yeah. That was a big win. Momentum.
Again, not only am I not taking that line, I'm going to Upset City. Minnesota will win this week.
Yeah, I'm going Upset City. I don't like the way the Niners look at all. Their quarterback situation is a joke.
It's time for Trey. I like Jimmy G, but it's time for Trey Lance to come in.
And who's their big target at this point? Deebo Samuel?
Yeah. Brandon Ayuk has been an absolute disappointment this season.
Yeah, take the upset in a major form.
Speaking of the Packers, they're only a -1 favorite at home against the Rams.
See,
actually, Aaron Jones, again, a game-time decision. He may miss this week.
Which is big. If that's the case, that might flip the line a little bit more. But I don't understand this because the way I understand the way Vegas lines work is usually you have a 3-point differential when it comes to...
This is more of a pick-em. Honestly deserved. The Los Angeles Rams have looked absolutely great this season.
They've looked good, and they even picked up what's his name in the trade.
Well, hang on. I was starting to look the Rams records. They're 7-3. They're 2 games behind the Cardinals in the NFC West. They're 2 games ahead of the 49ers.
Didn't they make the trade with the Broncos?
No, with the Browns. They picked up Odell.
Oh, who picked up the guy from the Broncos? They made the trade, or was that the Chargers?
Rams Broncos trade. Let me see. That was Von Miller.
Yeah, they picked up Von Miller. I think that's a big trade.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it again. I don't think Aaron Jones is going to play. And the way they've been using Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon this year has been weird. We're talking about momentum. I need to see something from Rodgers. Now, when you guys a couple of weeks ago were picking, the Packers, I think it was the Week 10 matchup. Was that the week?
Seattle. Yeah.
And you guys were going Seattle. And I said that's too tough of a matchup and then coming off of injury, Russell Wilson. But you know what? For a team with a lot of momentum like the Rams and a rejuvenated Matt Stafford at quarterback, now that he's not in Detroit anymore, this is one where I would go against the Packers in Lambeau. I'm going Upset City for the second matchup in a row. I'm going with the Rams.
I do agree with you, like you said in the past. Like Lambeau is a tough place to win in. It definitely, like the -1 line sometimes is a little deceiving, but at the same time,
Packers have no momentum.
Karen Rodgers hasn't practiced all week with his COVID toe. and he looked bad last week. And yeah, I'm going to go upset city too. I just think the Rams defense is probably the best defense he's going to face all year.
I think the Rams are going to be. I think the Rams might be the top wild card seed in the NFC because I don't think they're going to catch the Cardinals.
The Rams kind of remind me of like when the Red Sox won the World Series out of the wild card spot. Like I can see them doing the same thing, to be quite honest.
Definitely. Sunday Night Football this week. It's the Browns taking on the Ravens. The Ravens, a 3.5 favorite. Now Nick Chubb is back. And how did the Browns do last week? They ended up. Oh, they barely beat Detroit last week,
which is again pathetic. The Lions are making people look worse than they are.
I mean, you have to give some credit to the Lions. It's heartbreaking how sometimes they don't, how close they get.
But the Lions are playing spoiler at this point. Like, come on.
But the thing is about the Browns, Baker's been playing hurt all season. The weapons around him, have been kind of disappointing. Nick Chubb came back from injury recently, and he's looked okay. Kareem Hunt is going to be back. As much as those two, are great at running back, and as tough as the Browns defense can be, the Ravens defense, they've downgraded a bit, but they're still decent. And the Ravens, as much as they had the running back issues, you have to give some credit. Devonta Freeman has looked pretty damn good as of late. He is he's not looking like his 2016, 2017 self, but he's been serviceable.
You're also forgetting Lamar Jackson. You have the top guy on your roster who can do everything
as a quarterback. Yeah. Hollywood Brown, if he plays, he should be fine. I know Hollywood Brown is questionable.
You also have a dismantled wide receiver unit in Cleveland.
Right, but that's my point. I think I trust the Ravens options more than I do the Browns. So take the money.
Yeah, take the money.
Monday Night Football.
Oh no!
What a joke of a matchup this is. Actually, I don't think we even set a line for this. What was the line for this one?
I'm gonna have to go and find the line because I don't think I even saw a line. I mean, like, you want to talk about the game as I look for it?
Yeah. So it's funny how we mentioned how bad Seattle, has looked a little as of late. I mean, they got Russell Wilson back, but really, it's just been an absolute disappointment. And Washington football team, I should say, Washington football team, we constantly write them off. Oh, a joke. But Washington football team, they beat the Bucs, yes?
It's -1 for the Washington football team.
Wait, well, Washington's the favorite?
According to this, they are, yeah.
Okay, so it kind of actually is going to go with my point that, you know what? Washington, they beat the Bucs 2 weeks ago. They beat the Panthers last week. Sad as it is to say, Washington has the momentum. And as sad as it is to say, I'm tempted to take the money on this one.
Wait a minute. It's Heineke versus Wilson? I mean, yeesh.
But the Seahawks, they look terrible.
They look terrible. Carson's out for the year. I don't know. Their wide receiver options are kind of up in the air except for...
Metcalf and Lockett. But again, the Washington... Chase Young's season ended a couple weeks ago, but Washington's defense is still tough.
That was a scary injury, by the way.
Yeah, I'm hoping Chase Young can make a big recovery there.
Their defense was struggling anyway this year, so he wasn't really doing a whole lot to save them, but...
I think they're okay.
But I'm surprised at the line, to be quite honest with you.
Is this going to be the week where Seattle...
It's on the road. It's also on the road. Seattle's on the road, so I guess it makes sense that the home team would be favored in a pick'em. But, yeah, I don't know. This one is tough. I'm just reading some of the statistics. Seattle's offense has scored just 13 points in 2 games since Russell Wilson returned, and Washington has tightened up on defense the last 2 weeks by allowing 20 points per game.
Yeah, I'm going to say take the money. I'll take the risk on this one. Take the money.
It also says Washington is 4-1 when it has less than 2 turnovers in a game. So,
I'll take the risk.
I'll take the risk. I'll take the risk on this one too. But I wouldn't be surprised if this game went either way.
I mean, if Seattle loses this one, there's no coming back from it.
If they lose, it's D for done. I can't do a D. D for done.
I mean, they're 3-7 already. If they fall to 3-8, there's already looking like it's already bleak. It's just gonna look bleaker with a loss like this.
You know what? I'll go one better. Tea for toast if they lose.
Thursday Night Football to start off Week 13. What a weird matchup. It's the Cowboys and the Saints. Now, obviously, because it's Week 13, we're just coming off the Thanksgiving. We have no idea if Kamara is going to be ready. We have no idea if Ingram is going to be ready.
You have Cowboy injuries.
You also have Cowboys injuries too. Amari Cooper, we don't know if he's going to come back from the COVID list.
Unvaccinated, by the way.
Amari Cooper should come back, but we don't have a confirmation as of yet. CeeDee Lamb, he was a game time decision, was officially ruled out. I would expect Lamb would be back. Here's the thing. The Cowboys, as much as they lost to the Raiders, they still put up 30-plus points. Dak Prescott still looks pretty damn good. Zeke and Pollard, especially Pollard,
I would reverse them. I would make Pollard the one and Zeke the backup at this point.
So, unless the Saints are going to get healthy within the span of a week, I got to go Cowboys.
What was the injury? Because I don't know what the injury 100% was for Kamara that's been keeping him out.
Kamara injury, I want to say it was a leg injury.
Well, that would
knee, yeah.
That would do it. As a running back, you kind of need your knees. So, if Kamara's not back, they don't win. They just don't win.
Like we said for the Thanksgiving game, no Kamara, no W.
Yeah, my gut is telling me that Vegas is gonna put the favorite on the Cowboys. That's just what I think they're gonna do, and that it's not gonna be a heavy favorite because they're on the road in Louisiana.
Okay, but if that were the case, I'd say take the money.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I would take the money. If Kamara is out, I'm saying this very clearly. If Kamara is out, they don't win. That's it, plain and simple. So I'm taking the Cowboys
for sure. All right. That's going to do it for Empty the Bench, episode number 113. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit subscribe. And you need to be notified for all the videos that we're going to be putting out, whether it's Empty the Bench, whether it's Beyond the Bench, whether it's Living Life, or whether it's any of the other news shows.
Now the news. Yeah. So we have so many things and more shows coming. So you better hit that bell or I'm coming to your house and I'm going to do things. So, yes, I said.
What thing? You going to do a juggling eye for them? You going to do a magic show?
Maybe. Or maybe I'll just be Roger Goodell. I'll just sit and drink wine and tell you how bad the NFL is.
And you'll find people at the game checks.
You know what? For every person that doesn't subscribe, I'm coming to your house and I'm finding you an NFL game check.
So do me a favor, ring that bell. Make sure to get notified of everything.
Ring the bell!
And if you're watching on social media, make sure to follow us on social media. Make sure to hit those likes and follows button at ETB Sports for this show, at ETB Network for the network accounts, and for our individual accounts on Twitter. You see those scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. But yeah. That's going to do it. So for Nick Morgeson, I'm Tom Albano. We'll see you next week on Empty the Bench. Until then, take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.